Well, lately the news has been plastered with talk about, cheating spouses from professional athletes like, of course, Tiger Woods to politicians. John Edwards there.
Yeah, and now another legal battle has broken out between the two key players in the Edwards saga, and the prize they're fighting over, a sex tape.
Ooh, George Stephanopoulos has more.
Rielle Hunter, one-time mistress of John Edwards, has filed a lawsuit contending that Andrew Young took photographs and videos without her consent. One of them, a video she made in 2006 that depicted matters of a very private and personal nature. Young has said he's got one racy tape.
It's a sex tape of Rielle and John Edwards, made just a couple of months before the Iowa caucuses.
North Carolina deputies attempted to recover Hunter's purported property at Young's home, but they were blocked by his attorney. A longtime aide to John Edwards, Andrew Young details in his new book how he helped hide the fact that Edwards had fathered a child with Mistress Rielle Hunter by publicly claiming the baby as his own.
Let me zoom in on that belly.
Did we do the right thing morally? No, absolutely not.
Andrew, it's John.
And Young says evidence he has saved, including phone messages, prove that John Edwards was actively involved in a cover-up.
I really love you, Andrew.
Scandal gets deeper and deeper. It makes me wonder, what was that sex tape doing at Young's home?
Well, she apparently was storing some of her belongings there, according to what I've read, and she had a lot of her stuff in a closet, including what was a damaged videotape. Why he went into that closet and looked at it, I don't know. I mean,
So she wants her stuff back. Well, yeah. So what do you do then if you suspect your significant other might be thinking about straying?
A licensed professional counselor Donna Fortney is here with the advice that you need to know if you suspect something. Donna, good to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you. It's good to be
here. Maybe a little suspicion, I've heard people say a little suspicion may be a good thing because it keeps you on your toes. This is not a relationship that is not purely unconditional love in a maternal kind of a way. You want to be on your best behavior so that the relationship lasts and stands the test of time.
Oh, absolutely, you want to be on your toes, and the things that are going now in the public are really damaging. And this next generation that's coming up after us, they're seeing so many things that are difficult to reconcile, and I think it's so easy, to get in and out of relationships that they're not committing.
Well, also that generation have lived through the product of our generation's propensity for divorce and things of this sort. So they've seen the real life damage that comes with this kind of behavior.
Right, and there is a lot of damage, and I have to tell you something that happened last night. We were talking about the segment today, my husband and Dan and I. And he was in his office and I was in mine, and they're just next door to each other, and I was looking up information, and all of a sudden I get a video, and it's of Dan, and he's just starting to chat and be funny and making faces, and I thought, well, I'm just going to respond back, and I had fun and made faces, and we giggled, and we're right next door to each other, and so that was a connection, and it was fun, and it was spontaneous. And it was very intentional because we do things like that. We talk, we have fun, we talk about our fears. And those couples in relationship that are not talking,
are not laughing,
are not dating, are not spending time with each other, are in trouble.
Yeah. So are all of the what constitutes an affair? Because I mean, does it have to be sexual? Can it be an emotional connection?
My definition of an affair might be different from someone else's, but the way I work when I, am with couples and talk with pre-married couples is anything that takes the energy away from your relationship is an affair. It doesn't have to be with a person. It can be with a computer. It can be with a sport. It can be with your children or a club. A hobby. And so I think that anything that really takes the time away. But it's also what the definition of your partner feels. If it's an emotional affair and the it's just, we're just friends at work. But you're going out to lunch together. Or you're shopping together, or you're going to a meeting, or you're flying on a plane together and staying in the same hotel. It's what the partner feels is inappropriate
Right.
in the relationship.
Now, there's a little bit of a conflict in a relationship because you want to have that trust. And if you're too suspicious, you're probably doing damage. But
Right.
at the same time, if you are suspicious, you hear of a lot of people hiring a private detective. Is that, if you do that, if you hire a private detective to check up on your spouse, is that an admission that you have no trust, the trust is lost in the marriage? Or is it a sound thing to do?
Well, I think that there's a reason to go that far. I mean, there's trust that's been lost. If there are emails that you're finding, if your partner comes home and their clothes are smelling, you know, of a perfume or a cologne or cigarette smoke or, you know, other odors, if they're taking more phone calls, if they're protecting their cell phone or BlackBerry, if they're on the computer more, if they're dressing differently, if they're gone more. I mean, you know, we're with the people that we work with and people that travel are gone a lot from their partnership, and if they're not committed to the relationship,
Interesting.
that's big.
Yeah.
A new
It's a
world and
big-
technology is a big part of,
Oh,
of
sure.
the communication
What
that
was
we
it
have today.
Ronald Reagan said about the former Soviet Union, says, trust but verify.
Sure, absolutely you want to do that. So the internet can really be helpful and it can be harmful as well. Helpful in what Dan and I did last night, and harmful because of Facebook and finding past, you know, exes and things. And
Well, Donna Fortney,
getting
very
trouble.
interesting stuff. We'll have to think twice about
Barely
what
scratched
you
the
just
surface.
told us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very
Good
much.
to have you.